Very happy morning, children. Hope you're all safe and healthy. Now, when we talk about health, now this period is very important. You should really be healthy. Okay, so we are going to see a topic, human health and disease. Now, what is health and what is disease? So let us. Okay, so now, what is meant by health? You say physical fitness, mental fitness, or we should be both sound in body and mind. And now we talk about social distancing, so social well-being. What is actually health? Okay, so let us see. Now health, can you see this? So some of you say that when we exercise, our health will be good. And then we say that yes, good diet is important, balanced diet and healthy food we need to take. And now doctors say, and even students and parents talk about stress. Stress management is very important. Okay, and we have to be with the family and friends to be healthy, happy, fine. And more important is good sleep. So when all combined together, we could say that we will have a good health. Okay. Now, in ancient days, what did people say? So especially Greeks and Indian Ayurveda system, they considered state of body and mind with balance of humors is a good health. Humors is just a kind of liquid which is secreted in the body, and there are four kinds of humors: black bile, yellow bile, phlegm and blood. And it was believed that person with black bile have hot personality and would have fever. Okay, so in ancient days they all believed that. But later, William Harvey, when William Harvey discovered blood circulation, it was proved that person with black bile had normal body temperature, and so that good humor theory was disproved. Now, so what is health? So now later many kept on discovering, and now we all know that our mind is influenced, and it is influenced by neural system, endocrine system, immune system, and together they affect health. Yes, what are the factors influencing health? Now, genetic disorders, infections and lifestyle. What is a genetic disorder? It is the deficiency of the or the defects which a child inherits from parents. That is from birth, whatever you get it. Those disorders or defects are genetic disorders. The infections which we acquire, okay, which we get from the surrounding and the everything. And next is lifestyle. Yes, what kind of food we take and the water we intake, the rest and the exercise we have, and the habits we have developed. So all this matters. So that is why every time teachers, parents or doctors keep telling you, take good food. Yeah, don't eat open food, and have water boiled, and have good rest. We say that night sleep is very important, so 7 to 8 hours sleep is a must, and exercise is needed for the body. In those days they did a lot of physical exercise, so it was not insisted, but now we have machines for everything, and so we need to do some exercise, walking, jogging, breathing and yoga. Next is habits. Yes, we should have good habits. We should not get into any bad habit which will affect our health. Okay, and the infection, we have to maintain some distance. That is what now we are talking about. So don't be too close with anyone. If anybody has got some infection or disease, that we will get it by shaking hands, by being very close, by getting the water particles or the saliva particles which get into our body. So, and of course, genetic disorders, we have nothing to do. We cannot do anything because it is by birth. Fine. So these are the factors which affect health now. Now, let us see what is health again. Health is generally means free from illness or disease, injury or pain. Yes, there should be no pain, no illness or no disease. Then we can say that we are healthy. Health can be defined as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, right? So not only physical health, we say that mind and physic both are associated. When somebody is mentally depressed, the health gets affected. Somebody is physically weak, mind also doesn't work. Not only that, now the society also plays an important role. The people around, the things around, when the society also is healthy, only then we can be healthy. Fine. And healthy people are efficient at work, which increases productivity. Yes, what it means. How can you work only when you are healthy? So go to any industry, factory, school, office or anywhere. People, if they are healthy, they will work more. Naturally, productivity will be more and our economic status also will grow. So that is what it means. And health increases longevity of people and also it reduces infant and maternal mortality. So hope now you are a little bit clear of health. So how health plays an important role in our personal life as well as right. So health does not simply mean absence of disease or physical fitness. It could be defined as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. Now, how to improve the health then? So what are the ways to achieve good health? First is balanced diet. Yes. Next is the exercise. So go to gym or do some jogging, walking, yoga and skipping and exercise, all this. So exercise. Next is this is personal hygiene. Yeah. So washing hands we talk about. Every time we have been telling, only now people are following it. Washing hands, washing legs and when you touch a computer or a door or something, you have to sanitize that. And next, taking a good bath and brushing your teeth, washing your face, hands, keeping your nails clean. So all these come under personal hygiene. Next is yoga to keep our mind very clear, stable and balanced. So these are the ways you could achieve good health. And what are the other factors which can improve our health? One is vaccination. Yes, certain diseases which have been like right now you talk about coronavirus, but before long time back there was plague, chicken pox and typhoid and malaria, many diseases. So to prevent all this, we have got vaccination right now. So take vaccination as doctors advise. Next is disposal of waste. So government keeps telling, we are still not following. We have to follow. Dispose the waste properly in boxes. Next is removing vectors. This is what do you mean by vectors? In animals or insects, whichever spreads disease. Yes. So how to remove it? Insecticide you have, and you keeping the environment clean, removing the garbage, and so these ways we could keep away from insects and the vectors which spread diseases. Next, healthy food. Yes, so clean and have your food. So these are the ways we can health. Now, what do you mean by disease? Yes, all talk about disease. So now let us find out. When an organ or a system of the body gets adversely affected and characterized by signs and symptoms, we have a disease. Yes, we have some cold, cough and tiredness, fatigue and irritation. So some symptoms, some signs we get. So then we say that the person has got illness or sickness, and when it is long we call it as disease, right? Diseases are of two kinds. One is infectious, another one is non-infectious. What is infectious disease? It is transmitted from one person to another, and this is common and everyone suffers at some time or other. You cannot say that you will be away from infection, then you cannot be in the society at all, because we move with one another and it will be transmitted. Okay, so it is common and everyone suffers. Next, infectious diseases, yes, which is caught from others. Diseases like AIDS are fatal, so we have to be careful. Next is non-infectious, caused by genetic and environmental factors. Yes, So it comes by birth and due to the environment factors, the climate, the humid condition or the soil or the things around us. Drug and alcohol affect our health adversely. Okay, that can be prevented or controlled if a person is very controlled. You don't take drugs and alcohol, you will be healthy. And some diseases like cancer, yes, it causes death. Now, what are the common diseases in humans? Okay, let us see. Any substance which causes a disease by excess or deficiency or absence is called as disease agent. Okay, so how is a disease formed? It is because of something, some foreign object, something which doesn't suit our body enters, or something which is needed is less, so that is deficiency. So either the absence of something or the excess of something in our body leads to disease, right? Organism belonging to bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoan, helminths, etc. also cause disease. They are called as pathogens. What do you mean by pathogen? It acts as parasite by living on or living in a host and causes harm or disease. That is, it has to depend on something else to live. It cannot exist on its own. And then it brings disease to the body which it gets attached to. Right. What this pathogen does actually, or this parasite, once it enters into a body, it multiplies and interferes with normal vital activities, which results in morphological and functional damage. So they enter into a body and afterwards they have to adapt to the environment. Yes, that is not their place actually. So according to the place where they go, they have to adapt to the environment. So the pathogen entering into gut, for example, should survive at low pH to resist digestive enzymes. Here in our stomach we have digestive enzymes, and that is also acidic, and it has to actually adjust with that. Only then it can exist. Otherwise it will die off. Okay. So that now we are talking about the pH. When I think you would have seen the WhatsApp message or Facebook or all the videos and doctors' messages. So they say that pH we have to increase. That is, corona exists between some 2.5 to some 8.2, some measurement they have given pH. And if we take a higher pH value food, then we will naturally, the corona cannot exist in that and we will escape from it. That's what we talk about, gooseberry and lemon and all that, which they talk about, what is that, ginger. So these are, we have the spices in our house, garlic and pepper. These all help in increasing our pH value, which will drive away coronavirus. Okay, so what is that? Let us see how a disease is formed. Disease is nothing but absence of something or excess of something in our body. Okay, and these bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoan, only they cause disease. They are called as pathogens. They are nothing but these are small ones which live in or on a host and cause damage. Okay, how they cause damage? They enter into a body, multiplies, and then actually damages the actual function. Naturally we get disease, right? Now let us see some of the diseases which we uh, commonly get it. One is typhoid. So all of you at one time of other time you would have got typhoid, and there is a saying, they say that once you get, you may not get again. Fine. Causative agent, which causes? It is a bacterium Salmonella typhi. And what is the epidemiology of that is contaminated water and food. Yes. If the water or food is not good or it is contaminated, there this bacterium exists and it enters into our body and then in our small intestine and migrate to other organs through blood. Now, what is the symptom of typhoid? First, we get fever. Yeah, the high fever between 39 to 40 degrees Celsius, and then it causes weakness for the body, stomach pain, constipation, headache, and loss of appetite. We don't have feeling of eating, right? And in severe cases, it causes perforation of the intestine and then leads to death. But otherwise, now we have the vaccines and we all medicines and we just come out of that. Uh, right, a confirmation of disease. How to confirm whether it is typhoid? Fever is normal, but whether it is typhoid, how do you find out? It's a Vidal test. Okay, and there was one lady, Mary Mallon. She was nicknamed as Typhoid Mary. Why? Because she was typhoid carrier. She was a cook by profession, and she continued to spread through her food to many people this typhoid bacterium. So she was named as Typhoid Mary. So this typhoid is also an infectious disease, or it comes through bacterium. How do we get it? It is through food and water, not okay, non-infectious. Through food and water we get it, and we get with the normal weakness, constipation, headache. But when severe, only it leads to death. Fine. Next is pneumonia. So you would have talked about, you would have heard about pneumonia. What causes this pneumonia? Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, what is the epidemiology? Inhalation of droplets or aerosols released by an infected person. Yes, see, now you understand why we should maintain social distancing. It is all the time good. Be little away. When someone talks, when someone coughs, the droplets or the aerosols released by them, it gets into the person, and then not only that, by sharing glasses and utensils also with an infected person. So if the person's glasses you wear, and if you are sharing the utensils, the same vessels, then also there is possibility of getting this pneumonia. Okay, what are the symptoms? So respiratory tract, it affects first. So it infects, and we get cough, chills, headache, severe case, lips and fingernails may turn grey to bluish in color. So how it happens? So infection in respiratory tract. How this infection comes? Alveoli is there due to infection. It gets filled with fluid. Alveoli should be filled with air, right, for breathing. But this fluid enters, and naturally what happens? We are not able to breathe properly, and it develops, it fights. So first we get fever, then cough and headache and everything. So this is pneumonia. You can see here what is Streptococcus pneumoniae, how it multiplies, okay. And see, here is the lungs, okay. Now normal alveoli, how it is, it's filled with air, and here you can see if a person is affected with pneumonia, then it is filled with fluid, so it causes the disease. Now what is this common cold? Almost all would have got, and we get often this common cold. Which causes this? This is called as Rhino Virus. Yeah, coronavirus also is a kind of this. Okay, so Rhino Virus epidemiology. What is that? Inhalation of droplets of cough or sneeze of an infected person. Transmission through contaminated objects. Yes, if the droplet is on some object and we touch it, and we may get it. That is why we say when somebody gets cough, use a kerchief or your hand to cover. And when you sneeze also, you should not spread to others. And what are the symptoms? It will infect the nose first, and then the respiratory passage, but it will not affect the lungs. Dear children, now coronavirus we talk about. Coronavirus also is a common cold virus only, okay, but in severe cases it can affect the lungs. So now we don't have any proper medicine or vaccination for coronavirus, and we have got for the first time, so we are all in panic. But when we get medicine and when we have a vaccination, I think it will also be like common cold and typhoid and pneumonia. Okay, so don't worry about it. It is also a virus just like rhino virus. That's all. So common cold shows symptoms like nasal congestion, yeah, nose block we get, and then discharge of that is a running nose we say. Then sore throat, yeah, it affects the throat, and it also becomes very rough, hoarseness, cough, headache, tiredness, fever. So this common cold can lead to all this, and the symptoms usually last for 3 to 7 days. What we tend to do it, second day or third day, immediately we take tablet. So that is not good, because automatically in 7 days time it will vanish, right? So here the picture says a common cold has no cure, so it goes automatically fine and can live for hours outside the body, so it can also stay outside the body. And here you can see the picture. So the fever, the boy suffers with the rhino virus. So fever, aches, then chill, tiredness, and sudden symptoms. Okay, sometimes. Now the next one is malaria. Yes. So what causes malaria? Plasmodium vivax and P. malaria, P. falciparum. Okay. Now the P. falciparum is a malignant malaria which may be fatal. Yeah, there are different kinds of malaria. So when these enter, the malaria is curable. But which leads to death is falciparum. Okay, how it comes actually? Bite of female Anopheles mosquito. It is because of that. That's why we say be away from mosquitoes. Have mosquito nets in your windows and doors, and your bed should be covered with mosquito net. And use mosquito repellent oil or gel or the liquid. So all this is recommended because we have to protect ourselves from mosquitoes, right? And which it targets actually when the mosquito bites and when this agent enters the body. RBC and liver, red blood corpuscles and liver. So it attacks. Okay, what are the symptoms? High fever and chillness, and then vomiting. Yeah, so here you can see, so it affects the skin, so chills and sweating. Sweating also will be there, and it will be will feel very chill. Then respiratory organs, lungs, so because of the dry cough, and spleen, so the enlargement of spleen, and stomach, it affects, so nausea and vomiting. And then it also affects the head part, brain, that is headache we get. Systematic, it affects the system, sorry, systemic, it affects the system. So fever and muscular, so as a result we become tired, fatigue, and there is pain of the body, and then back pain also we get. Now this is the life cycle of the mosquito. So it bites a person. Then the parasite sporozoites reach the liver through parasite. You know what is parasite? Do you remember, children? So it's pathogens are all parasites which live on or in a host. It cannot live on its own, and then it develops or multiplies, gets adapted, and then affects the functions there. So that is what is parasite. So sporozoites are formed and they reach the liver through blood. Then the parasite reproduces asexually in liver cells. It reproduces, bursting the cell and releasing into the blood. Just can you see it? So it reproduces. First it is very less here. See how it actually increases, and then it bursts out and enters the blood. These parasites reproduce asexually in red blood cells, bursting the red blood cells and causing cycles of fever, other symptoms. Released parasites infect new red blood cells. Yes. The next is gametocytes, female, male, you can see sexual stages develop in red blood cells. So when red blood cells it affects, then it multiplies again. Then it, see, female mosquito takes up gametocytes with blood meal. Now it is already in your blood now. It is mixed, and when a mosquito bites again, now this which is inside your body is taken by the mosquito again, right? Then fertilization development takes place in the mosquito's intestine. It goes to the mosquito's body, and there this takes place, fertilization and then further development. And then again salivary glands and sporozoites are there actually. What happens? It again, when it bites another person, it transmits there. Okay. So mature infective stages, sporozoites escape from intestine and migrate to the mosquito salivary glands. So this is the salivary gland of mosquito. So in mosquito's intestine it has developed. Then it goes to the salivary glands, and from there when it infects another person, it just injects into the body of the person. So thus the life cycle continues. Okay. So this is how mosquito, a female mosquito, is responsible for malaria. Now this is the life cycle of Plasmodium. So I'll just read out. Plasmodium requires two hosts, human and mosquito, that is female Anopheles, and it starts with injecting sporozoites through the bite of infected female mosquitoes. The parasite multiplies within the liver cells, then attack the red blood cells, resulting in this rupture. There is a release of toxic substance called hemozoin from the ruptured RBCs. It is responsible for the chill and high fever. From the infected human, the parasite enters into the body of Anopheles mosquito during biting and sucking blood. Further development takes place in the body of Anopheles. So this is what I explained with the picture. Now how to prevent this malaria? So suppose mosquito enters, we get all this. When you want to prevent malaria, sleep under a treated net. Yeah, so see that your net covers your body. Next, clear the bush and drain stagnant water. Dear children, this is one main cause. Always we say don't allow unwanted plants or weeds around. Wherever you see, immediately clear it. And if stagnant water is there, that is why during rainy season they say remove stagnant water, don't allow water to stand anywhere, because that is the cause for breeding of mosquitoes. Close the windows every morning, yeah. Close the windows, okay, so till morning, sorry, every evening till morning. So because night time is the breeding time for the or entering time for the mosquitoes, so don't allow them. Just in the evening close the windows, and next morning when the sun rises you can open the windows. Next, seek preventive treatment when pregnant. Yeah, this is for the pregnant ladies. They have to get all the prevention from the doctor. So protect yourself and your family from malaria. Next comes amebiasis. So what is amebiasis? It is caused by Entomobia histolytica protozoan, transmission of parasite from fecals of infected person to food or food products through houseflies. Yes, children, that is why we say that when you use restroom, you should flush before and after, because if somebody has not flushed properly, or even afterwards, there will be germs and virus and all these bodies. So what will happen? That will affect us. So flush with water. Just pour water, or if it is a flush tank, flush it, and then use your toilets. And after you use, again it should be clear. The water should be clear. So flush nicely. So if from the fecus the parasite moves and enters, so it will go off, and if it lands on food particles, then we eat the same food, right? Then we will be affected. And it is also spread through houseflies, which is not, we cannot do it anything, because if houseflies go and touch the fecus and again they come and sit on the food item, then it gets into our body. That is why we say avoid roadside food, avoid open food. So once the food is cooked, it should be kept closed. We say don't leave it open, because houseflies will come and sit on that. This housefly will sit everywhere. Okay, so keep all this. Why someone says, so you should listen to that. Drinking water contaminated by the fecal matter or the main source of infection. Yes, if the water is also left open, or if it is not a good water, that's what we don't know from where it comes. So we better say you boil and drink water. So if the water is infected with this because of the housefly or from fecal matter, again it gets into this water, we will be getting this amebiasis. So which it affects? It affects large intestine. So what are the symptoms for that? Yes, it leads to constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, stools with excess mucus and blood clots. Right, so here is how it is. So contaminated water or food, so that enters our body through mouth, you can see it, right? And next one is the cyst transforms into active form of the parasite in the intestines. It can live here causing only mild symptoms. So it enters into the intestine here directly. Now next stage, in some cases the parasite burrows through the wall of the intestine. If it is in the intestine, a little bit of a symptom, and then we take some medication, it goes off. But if it is little severe, it gets into the wall of intestine. there it can be carried by the bloodstream and can infect other organs like liver, lungs and brain. Right? So this is moving here. You can see it gets into the lungs. Some of the parasites pass out in the fecus and transform back into the cyst to survive harsh conditions outside. And then they find another host. So what happens? Some of the parasites just move and through our fecus it is eliminated outside. And this fecus, when it comes out, it can stay there for some time and then it finds another host. Somebody enters, okay, unhygiene or unclean toilets, and that through that fecus it enters another host through the nose or mouth, whatever, and again it enters into the intestine of the other person. So this is how it keeps moving. Now comes ascariasis. What is ascariasis then? How it is caused? It is caused by Ascaris lumbria coides. A round, we call it as in simple term, we call it as roundworm. This is very common. So this is got due to contaminated water, vegetables, fruits. Yes, this sometimes people say my stomach is paining, my stomach is paining. I feel like vomiting, and I'm not well. This immediately people will say you may have worms in your stomach. So go to doctor and you take anti-worm tablets. And even in schools and other offices, they give this tablet at times to consume because you should get rid of this roundworms. And it's very common in water and vegetables and fruits, right? And this takes place through fecals of infected person which have the egg of parasites. Again, it is excreted out. Then target organ, how it affects, it goes and affects the intestine. What are the symptoms? So inside, actually it is not seen, internal bleeding of intestine. So as a result, there is muscular pain, fever, anemia and blockage of intestinal passage. Now you could see this through food we get this, and this is how it is. Adult female, a long worm, and adult male, so it is little short, you could see. So like this, these worms will be rounded form in our body, and actually it consumes all the food which we take, okay, and it grows very well, and our stomach pains, and we often feel hungry. And here the affected person's stomach, see, it pains a lot. And it multiplies. It is seen. Can you see? It is in your stomach. If so many insects are there, worms are like this, how will it be? Imagine. You can't imagine, right? Next is filariasis. What is this? It is caused by nematode, a roundworm again, and Uchararia bancrofti, Brugia malayi, and Brugia timori. And so you can see the infected person's legs, how it is. Now it is also called as elephantiasis or filariasis. Why elephantiasis? Because the legs become very big like elephant. And which causes Wuchereria bancrofti and malayi, they are helminths. Now bite of female mosquito, again be female mosquito, okay, culex. Now lymphatic vessels of lower limbs, genital organs are affected. Usually this goes and affects the lower limbs. That is why the legs become big. So, or whichever part it affects, that part becomes very big, enlarged in size. So, chronic inflammation of organs for many years. You can see chronic disease means for years, for many years it stays. So, this is one kind of such disease. Lymphatic vessels which result in appearance of elephant-like elephantiasis. Deformation of genital organ. Okay, now you can see the female mosquito and then it gets into the body. So the life cycle of filariasis. Filariasis is given here. So an infected mosquito deposits larvae on the skin. Okay, and if there is a wound or while biting, it gets into. The larvae migrate to the lymphatic system where they grow, mate and form nests. See, imagine. So they live inside the body. The nests cause blockages resulting in swelling and fever. Then female worms produce microscopic worms called microfilariae that swarm in the blood at night. Can you see this? So this is what is microfilariae, and in the blood it swims very nicely, okay, when mosquitoes bite. Now it goes, the mosquito bites the infected person again, ingesting the along with the blood. So the mosquito which bites, again it ticks, and microfilaria develop into a larvae over a period of week. So the cycle repeats. So it is caused by a mosquito. It develops very well in a human body. Again it enters the mosquito when it bites, and it continues to live. Now, what are the symptoms? Edema with thickening of the skin and underlying tissues is the classical symptom of elephantiasis. The first, the skin becomes very thick, okay, and it usually affects the lower extremities, and however the arms, breasts and scrotum, okay, can also be affected. The edema in the extremities, breasts or genital area can result in the part becoming several times its normal size. Okay, so what it does, whichever part it affects, maybe breast or the genital area, then or the lower limbs, whichever part it affects, it multiply or makes it bigger from the normal size, and is due to blockage of the vessels of lymphatic system. So the vessels are blocked, and as a result it expands. Now, how to prevent this filariasis or elephantiasis? Treatment with diethylcarbamine 100 mg twice a day for 3 weeks and for 5 days every 6 months. This is what doctors prescribe. Okay, but how we can prevent, avoid mosquito bites by using mosquito nets. This is the only method. So do not be affected by mosquito. Be away from mosquito. Use mosquito repellents, mosquito nets. Next is ringworm. Yes, already we saw about roundworm. Now another worm is ringworm. So what are the agents? Microsporum, trichophyton, epidomophyton. Okay, they are all fungi, not virus or bacteria, but fungi. And how we get it? It is acquired from the soil using towel, clothes or even comb of infected individuals. Heat and moisture enhances the growth of organism. Yeah. So how it affects, which parts it affects? Skin, nails, folds of skin in groin and toes. Yeah. And what are the symptoms? Appearance of dry scaly lesions in the skin, nails and scalp. Yeah, sometimes you could see your skin is dry, and then there is some patch or something formed there. When you just rub it, then what happens? It becomes reddish. Nails also you could see sometimes the nails are affected, and your head, sometimes you keep on scratching because the scalp also becomes very dry because of this. Lesion accompanied with intense itching. Yeah, then finally it leads to itching. So we start actually scratching our head and the body, whole part of the body. So it is because of the ringworms. Can you see here how it has affected the nails or the toes? Sorry, toes. And here on the skin, you could see the red patch here. And this is what is microsporum. So this causes this kind of disease. Now, how to prevent? So we have seen many diseases caused by bacterium and what is that? Fungi. Yeah, so parasites, we could say, pathogens. Now, how to prevent and control these diseases? Infectious diseases can be prevented through maintenance of personal and public hygiene. Yes, that is what is very, very important. Very clean you should be. Not only your food and the water or the surroundings, even your whole body should be clean. That's why we say cut your nails and actually clean your nails. Keep your hands and legs very clean, and wash your hair every time, every week, and keep your hair and the head very clean. Nose and the ears, everything should be clean. That's why we have to inhale hot water. Okay, so the steam bath we take. So these are the ways we could keep our personal hygiene, right? And now diseases can be grouped as food and waterborne, airborne, vector-borne. So food and water, of course, the food, closed food, cooked food, and water is clean water, drinking water, airborne. So Air is everywhere. We cannot do anything, but we have to protect ourselves. Next is vector-borne, means through the insects and the animals which spread diseases. This we could control, okay, by insecticides and removing unwanted things all around us. Now, food and waterborne diseases. Proper personal hygiene include keeping the body clean, that is consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetables, fruits. Proper public hygiene includes proper disposal of waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs, pools, cesspools and tanks, and observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering. Yeah, children, it is not only that food and water should be clean. You should see that your water tanks are cleaned. Yes, every 3 months it is better to clean your water tanks. If not, at least every 6 months, and wherever water is stored, that has to be cleaned. So, which are the diseases? Typhoid, amebiasis, ascariasis spread through airborne diseases. So, through air which we get, close contact with the infected person. Through air it spreads and their belongings should be avoided. So, infected person, we should not be nearby and we should not touch their things. Personal hygiene is also very important to prevent diseases. And what we get from these airborne diseases, pneumonia and common cold. Okay, next is vector-borne diseases, controlling or eliminating the vectors and their breeding places. Yes, wherever these animals or insects which breed, okay, that they should be destroyed and they should be controlled. Avoiding stagnation of water in and around residential areas, regular cleaning of household coolers, use of mosquito nets. Introducing fishes like gambusia in ponds that feed on mosquito larvae, spraying of insecticides in ditches, drainage areas and swamps. Yes, these are the places where mosquitoes breed. So even in ponds and ditches or the drainage areas. So here all we should use insecticides. Doors and windows, yeah, where many people touch, open every time. Wire mesh to prevent the entry of mosquitoes. So you could have some kind of wire mesh. And then Aedes and Culex mosquitoes, houseflies, malaria, filariasis, dengue and chikungunya. They all are spread through vector-borne. Okay, fine. Now, diseases can now be prevented. How? Through vaccines and immunization. Then vaccines, they eradicate smallpox, polio, diphtheria, pneumonia and tetanus. Through biotechnology that we can make available newer and safer vaccines. Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enabled us to effectively treat infectious diseases. So do not hesitate, and just to make other people aware that vaccines have to be given at the right age. As soon as a baby is born, the doctors will say, hospitals will say, and every child should be given vaccination. Now you would have understood how it is important. So through injection, through drops, okay, and through tablets. Now let us once again recollect common cold. So this is very common children which we acquire, and cough, sore throat, running nose, fever, and normal adults get 6 to 12 infections in a year. Yes, so everybody will get at least 6 or 12 times. No need to worry about it. Can you see here acute viral rhinopharyngitis, acute what is that, coryza or cold is viral infection disease of caused primarily by rhinoviruses and coronaviruses. So this coronavirus is in your textbook. For years we have been learning. Yes, that is what we talk about. It is a common virus which causes cold. So don't panic now. Okay. But only thing is, the book itself gives very nicely how to prevent us from all this coronavirus. Keep away, maintain distance, keep your hands and legs and face and mouth or ears, nose, everything clean. So we will be healthy. So here, prevention of common cold, best way to stay away from the infected people. Hand washing with plain soap rather than sanitizers. Rinsing, drying physically. Okay, now through coughing, the germ spread. So how to prevent? Cover. Next, cover your nose and mouth with disposal tissue, right? Throw used tissue in dustbins. Wash your hands with soap and water regularly. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. If you have flu-like symptoms, visit your family doctor. Avoid touching eyes, nose or mouth if your hands are unwashed. If you have flu-like symptoms, stay home from work and avoid close contact with others. That is what now people are saying. Stay home and work. Work from home, study from home. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. So this is common for anybody who is infected with this virus, okay, rhino virus or coronavirus. But since it is now pandemic, it has spread all over and it is taking a serious or severe condition, the society gets affected. So otherwise we have to follow all these preventive measures. So when you are very hygienic and take preventive measures, nothing to worry about. Thank you. Have a nice day, children. Hope you understood. And if you have any doubt, read the textbook. If you have any doubt, you can come back and clarify.